Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for your kind association. Let's get started. Today we are going to discuss on a very important topic which is relevant to all of us, and that is the spiritual significance, the importance and the glories of Gopī Chandan Tilak. And this is coming from Shri Caitanya Bhāgavata, Ādi Gadādhara, chapter 15, first 14 verses. Let us begin by chanting our Mangalacharan prayers first. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, we are continuing our study of Shri Caitanya Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. All the translations and purports are given to us by His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, the beloved, revered spiritual master of our revered founder Acharya, Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Dana Deha Hridayeto Marapada Dvandva. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, as usual, as is the tradition, he begins every chapter with Mangalacharan prayers. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Dana Deha Hridaya Tomar Pada Dvandva. Please give your lotus feet in charity to my heart. May your lotus feet be always be manifest in my heart. This is the benediction that sincere devotees always aspire for. That may the lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Nityananda Prabhu always be manifest in my heart. In this regard, I would like to show you Shri Nityananda Ashtakam by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, who also gives a similar Falashruti. So this is the Nityananda Ashtakam, as you can see. Sharat Chandra Bhranti Spuradamalakantim Gajagatim Hari Premon Mattam Dhrita Paramasatvam Smita Mukham Samagurnan Netram Karakalita Vetram Kalibhidam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajana Tarukandam Niravadhi. 8 beautiful verses glorifying Shri Nityananda Prabhu in various ways, and with a prayer that I always worship Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the very root of the tree of devotional service. And let's see what the Falashruti is for this Nityananda Ashtakam. After 8 verses glorifying Shri Nityananda Prabhu, in the 9th verse, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is saying, Sukhanam adhanam rasika varasadvaishnavadhanam rasagaram saram patita tatitaram smaranataha param nityanandashtakamidam apurvam pathatiyas tadangri dvandvabjam spuratu nitaram tasya hridaye. See the similarity. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is giving us the benediction that Tad Angri Dvandvabjam Spuratu Nitaram Tasya Hridaye. Anyone who recites this beautiful Nityananda Ashtakam, the lotus feet of Shri Nityananda Prabhu will always become manifest in the heart of that devotee. Tad Angri, Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, Dvandvabjam, lotus feet, 2 lotus feet, Spuratu Nitaram Tasya Hridaye. Nitaram, always they will remain Spuratu, they will manifest where? Tasya Hridaye. In the heart of one who recites this Nityananda Ashtakam. How beautiful. So, similarly, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashaya also is praying that Jaya Jaya Gaurachandra Jaya Nityananda Dana Deha Hridaye Tomara Padadvandva. What charity do I want? I want the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu in my heart. Okay, text 2. Goshtira Sahite Gauranga Jaya Jaya Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhyahaya. All glories to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu along with his associates. We never worship Krishna without Krishna's devotees. We never worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without the Gaura Parshads. Even in our Pancha Tattva mantra, we say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivas Ādi Gaur. Ādi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. All the devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. So, Goshtira Sahite Gaura Anga Jaya Jaya. Goshtira Sahite Gauranga Jaya Jaya. Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhyahaya. What is the effect of hearing Chaitanya Katha, Gaur Katha? We are hearing Gaur Katha. In this Chaitanya Bhagavata, this is all Gaur Katha, Gaur Leela. What is the effect of hearing Gaur Leela? Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhyahaya. Anyone who hears Gaur Katha, topics about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakti Labhyahaya, gets Bhakti, pure devotional service, which is the highest aim of life. What is that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam? Savaya Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yatho Bhakti Radhokshade. Now, text number 3. Henamate Mahaprabhu Vidyara Aveshe Ache Gudha Rupe Kare Na Kare Prakashe. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained absorbed in his Vidyara, his scholastic pastimes, scholastic pastime, he lived incognito without revealing himself to anyone. Ache Gudha Rupe Kare Na Kare Prakash. What is the meaning of Na Kare Prakash? Not manifesting himself. Not manifesting himself as a devotee. Because Gaura Avatar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is always in the mood of a devotee. Radha Bhava Diti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. He has come in Radha Bhava as the greatest devotee of Krishna. Text 4. Sandhya Vandanadi Prabhu Kari Ushah Kale Namaskari Janani Re पढ़ाईते चले. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Nimai Pandit, the great scholar, the great teacher of Navadvip, he would perform his Sandhya Vandan. 3 times a day, he would perform his prayers. And what Sandhya Vandan is, what is Vedic Sandhya Vandan, what is Tantric Sandhya Vandan, that in a very beautiful, elaborate purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has described. And in the interest of time, I will not read the purport because we have much ground to cover. But those who are interested will benefit from reading this purport. It is very nice. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as an ideal householder, he would perform his Sandhya Vandan. Sandhya Vandan Ādi. Ādi means he had Shaligram Shila, Damodar Shaligram Shila. He had a 4-armed form of Lord Vishnu that was worshipped, the Adhokshaja deity. So Mahaprabhu would also perform Puja Seva for his Thakurji early in the morning. Usha Kale, early in the morning. Puja, chanting, it has to be done in the morning. Clearly it is mentioned here. And then Namaskari Jananire. Then Shri Nimai Pandit would offer his namaskar, his obeisances, his respects to his dear mother, Srimati Shachi Mata. And then Padhaite Chale. And then he would go to the school to teach. This was the Dincharya, the daily schedule of Nimai Pandit. He would wake up in the morning, he would take his Ganga Snan. After Ganga Snan, he would do his Sandhya Vandan, his prayers, Puja Seva. Shri Gadādhara Pandit also would come to assist Mahaprabhu later on in the pastimes. And then Mahaprabhu would offer obeisances to his mother and then go to the school. Where was the school? Anyone remembers? Raise your hand if you remember. Where was the school of, in whose house was the school of Nimai Pandit? Yes, Ramsham Prabhu.
If I am not wrong, Prabhuji, Srivas Thakur.
In the house of Srivas Thakur, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would perform his Sankirtan pastimes. This was in the house of, okay, Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu has raised his hand. Go for it, Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu.
Gadādhara Pandit.
Gadādhara Pandit was a very intimate friend of Mahaprabhu and he would come to the house of Mahaprabhu every day, very dear friend of Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu had opened his school in the house of Mukunda Sanjay. Mukunda Sanjay. Text 5. Aneka janmera bhritya Mukunda Sanjay Purushottama Dasahaya Jahara Tanay. Beautiful poetry. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashaya is saying, Aneka janmera bhritya Mukunda Sanjay. This Mukunda Sanjay has been a servant, a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for many lifetimes. Many lifetimes. Which means he is an eternal associate of Mahaprabhu. Purushottam Dasa hai tahara jahara tanay. And his son is Purushottam Das. Remember, we were reading previously that Shri Nimai Pandit opened his school in the Durga Mandap, in the Chandi Mandap, in the front courtyard of the house of Mukunda Sanjay. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Ādi Gadādhara. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya has written this very beautiful Gaurarti. Such a meditation it is. Every verse, you can just sing it and meditate. Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Rarati Kashobha Janavi Tata Vane Jagamana Lobha. This beautiful Gaurarti is going on the bank of Ganga. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting on his Simhasan. Such a beautiful Gaurarti is going on that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is visualizing, beholding, and through his poetic writing, he is showing it to us also, revealing it to us also. On a Ratna Simhasan, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seated on the banks of Ganga in Sridham, Navadvip, Mayapur. And all the associates are there. Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Shri Gadādhara Pandit, Shri Advaita Acharya, Shri Srivas Thakur. Brahmaji is offering the Aarti. Such a beautiful description is there. And Sanjay Mukunda is also there. They're all singing. Vasudev Ghosh and others, they're singing the Gaur Aarti. Once when I was thinking about Gaur Aarti, I was wondering, so many associates are mentioned, but Mahaprabhu's very dear associate, a very dear friend of Shri Advaita Acharya, a very dear friend of Srila Srivas Thakur, a very dear friend of Shri Nityananda Prabhu is not mentioned in the whole Gaur Aarti. And that is Srila Haridas Thakur. There is no mention of Srila Haridas Thakur in the Gaur Aarti. But then I realized that Haridas Thakur is the one who is offering the Aarti. Because Brahmaji is offering this Aarti, isn't it? Bosi ache Gaurachan Ratna Simhasane Arati kare na Brahma Ādi Gadādhara. Chaturmukh Brahmaji is offering the Aarti to Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Brahmaji is none other than Srila Haridas Thakur. So I was very happy. So this Mukunda Sanjay, in his house, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a school, and his son, Purushottam, was a student of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. Text 6. Pratidina sei bhagyavantera alaye. Pratidina sei bhagyavantera alaya. Padaite Gaurachandra karena vijaya. Shri Gaurachandra daily went to the house of Mukunda Sanjay and his son Purushottam Das. And therefore he made them very, very fortunate because he was teaching in their house. Imagine, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is every day coming to your house. How wonderful is it? There were thousands of homes in Shridham, Mayapur. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made Mukunda Sanjay fortunate by using his house. Chandi grihe giya prabhu vasena prathame tabe sheshe shishagana aisena krame. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived first and sat in the Chandi Mandap or Durga Mandap. That's where the school was located, in the front courtyard of the house of Mukunda Sanjay. Tabe sheshe shishagana aisena krame. Then one by one, the students would gradually arrive there. What is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaching us as ideal grihastha? Punctuality. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is arriving before everyone else. Very wonderful. And this having a Chandi Mandap in the courtyard is a custom in Bengal. One should not think that Mukunda Sanjay and his son Purushottam Das were worshippers of Durga or Chandi. That is not the case. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is writing in the purport. Just because there was a Chandi Mandap in the courtyard of Mukunda Sanjay, no one should consider him a worshipper of goddess Chandi. These are Vaishnavas. There were clearly it is mentioned Aneka Janmera Bhritya Mukunda Sanjay. Many, many births he has been a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 8. Ito madhe kedachit keha ko nadine kapale tilakana kariya thake bhrame. That brings us to our topic of discussion today, the importance of Tilak. Translation. During this period, sometimes by chance, if a student would forget to mark his forehead with a tilak, ding, 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 what would happen? Ito madhe kedachit keha kona dine kapale tilaka na kariya thake bhrame. They made a mistake and they don't put tilak. Then what's going to happen? Let's read on. Text 9. Dharma sanatana prabhu sthape sarva dharma loka raksha lagi prabhu nalanghena karma. As Sanatan Dharma himself, Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat pranite. As Sanatan Dharma himself, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the principles of Dharma. religion. To protect people's religious principles, he would not tolerate any transgression. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna, Bhagwan, they are Dharma Gopta. They are the protectors of religion. Yuga Dharma Palo. And anyone would not put on tilak on their forehead. Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu would not tolerate. Dharma Sanatana Prabhu sthape sarva dharma. Loka raksha lagi Prabhu nalanghena karma. In Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes to establish dharma. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ji writes in the purport, as the protector of religious principles, Shri Gaura Narayan is the inaugurator of Sanatan Dharma. Therefore, he was not an inaugurator of Shudra principles, which are even devoid of Karma Kand. In order to teach people, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never transgressed Vedic Karma Kand. Rather, he taught that Karma Kand is insignificant and unfavorable for pure devotional service. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught pure devotional service. Text 10. Hena lajja tahare de hena se ikshane se arana aise kabhu sandhya kari vine. The very moment such a delinquent student appeared, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would put him to such shame that he would never again come without first completing his morning worship. This was Mahaprabhu's standard. He would chastise in such a way that the mistake would not be repeated. Prabhu bole kene bhai kapale tomar tilaka na dekhi kene ki yukti ihar. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say to the delinquent student who had not put tilak on the forehead, "Oh brother, why do I not see any tilak on your forehead?" What is the explanation? Mahaprabhu would confront. Tilakana thake jadi viprera kapale se kapala smashana sadrisha vede bhale. Mahaprabhu would say, the Vedas say that if a Brahman's forehead is not decorated with tilak, it is as good as a smashan, a crematorium. Tilakana thake jadi viprera kapale se kapala smashana sadrisha vede bale. And who is a Vaishnava? A Vaishnava is higher than a Brahman. A Vaishnava is higher than a Brahman. When a Brahman understands what is real Param Brahma, Brahma janati iti Brahman. When a Brahman actually understands in Tattva what is divine knowledge, what is Divya Jnana, then a Brahman becomes a Vaishnava. Because the aim of all learning is to understand Krishna. Vasudeva para Veda. The purpose of all Vedas is to understand Krishna. Vedaescha sarvair aham eva vedyo. Krishna is the object of all learning. Also in Bhagavad Gita ji, Lord Krishna says, what is that verse? Yomam vetti asamudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajate mam sarva bhavena bharata. Yomam vetti asamudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid. Somebody can please share this verse, very important verse. In this verse of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying, anybody who knows me knows everything. Anyone who knows me to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead knows everything. Yomam vetti asamudho, without any doubt, one who knows me, janati purushottamam, knows me to be the Purushottamam, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sa sarvavid bhajate mam sarva bhavena bharata. Such a person knows everything and worships me with bhav in all respects. Therefore, one who knows Krishna, one who worships Krishna is already a Brahman. every Vaishnava is a first class Brahman, but every Brahman is not a Vaishnava. Is this clear? So we are on the path of Shri Rupa Goswami. We are on the path of Srila Prabhupada. We are the followers of Srila Prabhupada. We are the followers of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Therefore, we all must cultivate and observe and respect the Brahminical principles, because every Vaishnava is a first-class Brahman. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Tilaka na thake jadi viprere kapale, se kapala smashana sadrisha vedabale. Therefore, we must have a tilak. That is the duty of every Brahman, and every Vaishnava is already a Brahman. Bhujilaya aji tumi nahi karo sandhya, aji bhai tomara khaila sandhya vandhya. I can understand that you have not performed your daily worship. Therefore, dear brother, your morning has become fruitless. Mahaprabhu would chastise. If someone came without tilak, your morning is fruitless, Mahaprabhu would say. And then Mahaprabhu would not stop at that. Look at Mahaprabhu's orders. Text 14. Chala sandhya karagiya grihe punarba, sandhya kari tabe se asiha parivar. Go back home, perform your morning duties, put on tilak, then you may return to study. See Mahaprabhu's standard. Very strict. Very strict. So we'll stop here. In response to text 8, where Mahaprabhu says, he notices a student who has come without tilak, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ji has given an elaborate purport about the importance of applying tilak. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is quoting from Shri Padma Puran. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is quoting from Hari Bhakti Vilas, the fourth Vilas. And he's quoting extensively from the scriptures to teach us the importance of tilak. So I'm going to read a few verses from the Padma Puran. You all know this verse. Lalate keshavam dhyayin narayanam athodare vakshasthale madhavam tu govindam kantha kupake vishnum cha dakshine kukshau bahau cha madhusudanam trivikramam kandharetu vamanam vama parshvake shridharam vama bahau tu rishikesham tu kandhare prishte cha padmanabham cha katyam damodaram nyaset tat prakshalena toyam tu vasudevaya murdhani. So this is the procedure for applying Dwadasha Tilak that we are all supposed to do. Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Vishnave Namaha, Om Madhusudanaya Namaha, Om Trivikramaya Namaha, Om Vamanaya Namaha, Om Shridharaya Namaha, Om Rishikeshaya Namaha, Om Padmanabhaya Namaha, Om Damodaraya Namaha. Then we wash our hands, and with that water on the shikha, Om Vasudevaya Namaha. For men and women both, this procedure of applying tilak should be followed. There are 12 places. Om Vasudevaya Namaha on the back of the head is just the washed water you're applying. But the 12 tilaks are the 12 places that we mentioned. This is very important. Further, it is said, Urdhva pundram lalatetu sarvesham prathamam smritam. Lalat adi kreme naiva dharanam tu vidhiyate. So one should first put tilak on the forehead. Urdhva pundram, our tilak, this Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak is called Urdhva pundram. Why it is called Urdhva? The devotees of Shiva, they have 3 horizontal lines. Why the Vaishnava tilak is called Urdhva Anybody? Raise your hand if you know. Because urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha. Our Shastra explain that those who are in the mode of goodness, they go upwards, higher planetary systems. Highest planet is Golok Vrindavan. And urdhva, founder means a Vaishnava always goes up, always progressive. That's why it's urdhva pundra. Our tilak is urdhva pundram. Urdhva pundram lalate tu sarvesham prathamam smritam. First we have to put on the forehead. Lalat adi kramenaiva, and then the kram that was mentioned. Then the navel, then chest, and the neck, like that. You keep going step by step. Kramenaiva dharanam tu vidhiyate. That's how a Vaishnava should put tilak. 12 places. Is it clear? Okay. So now we will close Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat and we will read from which book is this? Oh, you want a translation, Purnima? Okay. That's, I said a translation only. There was a translation only. But I'll read it again if you want. When one marks the forehead with tilak, one must remember Keshav. When one marks the lower abdomen, one must remember Narayan. Lower abdomen means above the navel. One should not put tilak below the navel. For the chest, one should remember Madhav. When marking the hollow of the neck, this area, this area, hollow of the neck, one should remember Govinda. Lord Vishnu should be remembered while marking the right side of the belly. Madhusudan should be remembered while marking the right arm. This is the arm. Then Trivikram, right shoulder. Vamanadev, left side of the belly. Sridhar, left arm. Rishikesh, left shoulder. Padmanabh and Damodar should be remembered while marking the back. Padmanabh for the upper back, Damodar for the lower back. Again, one should not put tilak below the waist. Then one should wash with water and remember Vasudev while wiping the hand on the head, like that. One should put on tilak on the forehead first. This is the rule. Then one should put on tilak according to the above mentioned procedure. Lord Krishna has stated in Padma Puran, my devotees always put on tilak, which destroys all kinds of fear. Okay, so that was a translation. So now we'll, from Chaitanya Bhagavat, we will go to Shri Garga Samhita. Garga Samhita, and this is Glories of Dwarka. This is from the 6th canto of Garga Samhita. Garga Samhita is a bona fide Shastra. It is recommended by all our Acharyas, like Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. His Holiness Danavir Goswami Maharaj has translated it and written the purports with the help of another glorious disciple of Srila Prabhupada, His Grace, Kushakrath Prabhu. And His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj has spoken quite extensively on the Garga Samhita. 6th canto of Garga Samhita, and we are going to read from chapter number 6. So this is Shri Garga Samhita, canto 6, sorry, chapter 15. Chapter 15, canto 6. So now please listen, I'm going to read these beautiful verses. Yasya Shravana Matrena. So basically here what is happening is Videharaj, Maharaj Bahulashwa is inquiring from Shripad Narad Muni. And Shri Narad Muni is speaking all this in Garga Samhita. Again, this is the 6th canto, chapter 15, text 15. Yasya Shravana Matrena Karma Bandhat Pramuchate Gopinam Yatra Vaso Bhut Tena Gopi Bhuvasmritaha. Shripad Narad Muni is saying, simply by hearing about Gopi Bhumi, which is so named because the gopis resided there, one becomes free from the bondage of all karma. Text 16. Gopi Angaraga Sambhutam Gopi Chandanam Candana Gopī Candana Liptango Ganga Snana Phalam Labhe. I am reading all these verses, all this praman from our Shastra, because recently one devotee approached me and showed me the comments, the article actually on a website of some Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are criticizing our dhara of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, because we wear Gopī Chandan Tilak. Their claim is that Gaudiya Vaishnavas should only wear Radha Kund Tilak. Wearing this yellow Gopī Chandan Tilak is wrong. So when such nonsense is spoken, we have to speak up. That's why today we are reading, taking this opportunity from Shri Caitanya Bhāgavata. We are going to read from bona fide scriptures like Shri Caitanya Charitamrita of Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Shri Garga Samhita, and Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas. So let's continue reading from Garga Samhita. Gopī Angaraga Sambhutam Gopī Chandanam Uttamam Gopī Chandana Liptango Ganga Snana Phalam Labhet. I don't know a word of Sanskrit. I have never studied Sanskrit. I always went to English medium school. So please forgive me. I don't claim any knowledge of Sanskrit, but I'm simply reading from these books that our acharyas have given. Translation. In Gopī Bhumi, this is in the Dwarka area. In Gopī Bhumi, Gopī Chandan was manifested from the Gopis' cosmetics. So please don't think that because this Gopī Chandan is coming from Dwarka and we are Vraj Bhakti Upasak, by putting Dwarka Chandan, Gopī Chandan, our Vraj Bhakti will get affected negatively. No. A person who does not understand what Gopī Chandan is will speak like this. But a person who understands the glory of Gopī Chandan will never have this doubt. Can anybody be more rasik than Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Can anyone be more rasik than Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Can anybody be more rasik than Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada? Has anybody spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like our Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vedanta Dhara? Nothing. But still people have the audacity to sit and criticize. It is simply because they don't understand. Here it is clearly said, Gopī Chandan, which we put with transcendental pride, we put Gopī Chandan Tilak. This Gopī Chandan Tilak that we apply, it has come from the cosmetics of the Vraj Gopis. Gopī Angaraga Sambhutam. Angaraga, from the cosmetics of the Vraj Gopis it has come. Gopī Chandana Liptango Ganga Snana Phalam Labhet. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking Ganga Snan every day with his devotees. Any person who applies Gopī Chandan on one's body attains the result of Ganga Snan. So in Skandha Puran, it is mentioned, chapter 7, how this Gopī Chandan came to be. And there are other descriptions also of how this Gopī Chandan manifested. The story is mentioned here in the purports of Garga Samhita. Once the Gopis went to Dwarka, and this story is mentioned in Garga Samhita itself, that once the Gopis went to the Vraj Gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani, they went to Dwarka, and they had a very beautiful Ras Leela in Dwarka. Very beautiful. Someday, if Krishna desires, we can narrate that pastime of the queens of Dwarka, Rukmini Devi, Satyabhama Devi, Ādi, all of them meeting with Srimati Radharani. Rukmini Devi got one Parijat flower. Satyabhama fought and got a Parijat tree. But when they met Srimati Radhikarani, Srimati Radharani had a forest of Parijat trees. Her asan was made of Parijat flowers. She was wearing garlands of Parijat flowers. All her sakhis were wearing garlands of. When Satyabhama and Rukmini saw, they were so humbled. Very beautiful description in Garga Samhita. So the gopis of Vrindavan, Vraja gopis, Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayastad Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavad Vargenaya Kalpita. The topmost devotees, the Vraj gopis, they went to Dwarka and had a Ras Leela with Krishna. No, itna maza nahi aaya. They didn't. Radharani said, this is not so high class. Why? Where is Yamuna? Where are the caves of Govardhan? And where are the beautiful Dwadasha forests of Vrindavan? This is not first class. But to teach the Mahishinis, to teach the queens of Dwarka, the glory of Vrindavan, this Leela took place. After that, in a kund, in a talab, the Lord Krishna and the Vraj gopis, they bathed. And all the chandan and all the cosmetics that the millions of gopis, the associates of Srimati Radhikarani, had applied, their perfumes, their cosmetics, everything got washed, and that talab was filled with the cosmetics of the gopis. And the mud from that talab, from that pond was named Gopī Talab. Even today it is called Gopī Talab because the gopis bathed there. And this Gopi Chandan that we apply, it is the chandan, it is the dust of the lotus feet and the cosmetics of the Vraj gopis. When they took bath, all their cosmetics got washed and they are there now as the mud of that talab. And that is what we apply. It is from Dwarka Dham, it is from the Gopi Talab, and it is Gopi Chandan, and it is made from the chandan and the cosmetics of the Vraj gopis headed by Srimati Radharani. That is what we apply. So, anybody who applies Gopi Chandan gets the result of Ganga Snan. Text 17. Mahanadinam snanasya punyam tasya dine dine gopi mudrabhir mudrito yaha sada bhavet. A person who daily wears Gopi Chandan Tilak attains the pious result of daily bathing in all the sacred rivers. Ganga, Yamuna, all these holy rivers, Godavari, Kaveri, taking bath in them. The result is obtained by one who simply every day puts Gopi Chandan. Isn't it wonderful? We don't need to go to all these holy rivers. Just apply Gopi Chandan Tilak every day. In Shri Caitanya Charitamrita also, in the Madhya Leela, chapter 24th, text 332 onwards, it is said in these two verses, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself, our Sampradaya Acharya, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, our Ishtadev, Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself is teaching Srila Sanatana Goswami and saying, Danta Dhavana Snana Sandhyadi Vandana Guru Seva Urdhva Pundra Chakradi Dharana Gopi Chandana Malya Dhriti Tulasi Abharan Vastrapitha Griha Samskar Krishna Prabodhan. Srila Sanatana Goswami is being instructed by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. In your book Hari Bhakti Vilas, you should describe how one should decorate one's body with Gopi Chandan. It's clear. Gopi Chandana is mentioned here. Urdhva Pundra is mentioned. The tilak that we put with Gopi Chandan. How to wear neck beads. Malya Dhriti. How one should collect tulsi leaves from the tulsi plant. How one should wash one's clothes. How one should wash the altar. How one should clean one's house or apartment. How one should go to a temple, ring the bell just to draw the attention of the Lord. All this samskars you must describe. Mahaprabhu is telling. So Gopi Chandan is mentioned in Caitanya Charitamrita by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he is instructing Srila Sanatana Goswami, who is our Sambandha Acharya. It is said, Ashwamedha Sahasrani Rajasuya Shatani Cha सर्वाणि तीर्थ दानानि व्रतानि च तथैव च कृतानि तेन नित्यं वै स कृतार्थो न संशयः. Very straightforward verse. A person who daily wears Gopi Chandan Tilak attains the result of performing 1000 Ashwamedh Yajna and 100 Rajasuya Yajnas. He attains the result of giving charity and following vows of all holy places. He attains the goal of life. Of this there is no doubt. This is Garga Samhita. Direct. Gangamrit Devi Gunam Punyam Chitrakuta Raja Smritam Tasmad Dasha Gunam Punyam Rajaha Panchavati Bhavam. Please listen carefully. Twice as sacred as the mud of Ganga is the dust of Chitrakoot. Within Chitrakoot, Sitaram, they walk barefoot, almost like Vrindavan. It is a Vrindavan Leela of Ram Leela. Chitrakoot. Closest. No Aishwarya, they were just living together. Such sweetness. So the dust of Chitrakoot, the Raj of Chitrakoot is higher than the dust of Ganga. 10 times more sacred than Chitrakoot is the dust of Panchavati Tirtha in Maharashtra, where again Sitaram performed many intimate pastimes. Panchavati on the bank of Godavari, where they lived during exile. So twice as sacred as the dust of Ganga is the dust of Chitrakoot. 10 times more sacred than Chitrakoot is the dust of Panchavati Tirtha. Tasmad Shata Gunam Punyam Gopī Chandanakam Rajah Gopī Chandanakam Vidhi Vrindavana Rajasamam. अभी बोलो क्या बोलना है. Garga Samhita says Gopī Chandanakam Vidhi Vrindavana Raja Samam. Gopi Chandan is non different from the dust of Vrindavan. Clearly it is said. Tasmad Shata Gunam Punyam Gopī Chandanakam Raja. 100 times more sacred than the dust of Panchavati Tirtha is Gopi Chandan. Gopī Chandanakam Vidhi Vrindavana Rajasamam. Please know that Gopi Chandan is equal to the dust of Vrindavan. Haribo. Text 21. Gopi Chandana Liptangam Yadi Papa Shatair Yutam Tam Netum Na Yamha Shakto Yama Dutah Kutah Punah. See, very beautiful. Garga Samhita is saying, and the similar statement is there in Skanda Purana also. Not just Garga Samhita, but Skanda Purana, Padma Purana, they all mention this. Even if in the past he has committed hundreds of sins, Yadi Papa Shatair Yutam, hundreds and hundreds of sins one has performed. If a person wears Gopi Chandan Tilak, Gopi Chandana Liptangam, if one applies Gopi Chandan Tilak, then Yamraj cannot take him away. Tam Netum Na Yamah Shakto. How then can Yamraj's messengers touch him? Yamaduta Kutah Puna? Impossible. Yamdutas, Yamraj cannot touch a person who wears Gopi Chandan Tilak, even if the person is sinful, very sinful. Text 22. Nityam karoti yaha papi Gopi Chandana dharanam sa prayati harer dhama golokam prakriti param. What is the destination of a person who applies Gopi Chandan Tilak? Golokam prakriti param. A sinner who daily wears Gopi Chandan Tilak goes to Lord Krishna's supreme abode Golok Vrindavan, which is beyond the world of matter. Sa prayati harer dhama golokam prakrite param. Prakrite param. It is beyond this prakriti. Nityam karoti yaha papi Gopi Chandana dharanam. Even if a papi person wears Gopi Chandan Tilak, will go to Golok Vrindavan. How wonderful it is. So this does not mean that we wear Gopi Chandan Tilak and we commit sins. No. We should feel that Krishna is so merciful that even a sinful person, if takes shelter of Gopi Chandan, applies Gopi Chandan as a rule, will go to Golok Vrindavan. So how much more if I do it with the intention of pleasing Shri Guru and Shri Krishna. Sindhu Deshasya Raja Bhud Dirgha Bahur iti Shrutah Anyaya Varti Dushtatma Veshya Sangha Ratha Sada. There is an amazing story here in Garga Samhita. Unfortunately, we don't have time now. In Sindhu Desh, there was a king named Dirgha Bahu. He was very cruel, sinful. He used to break all the regulative principles. He was a murderer also. So his story is mentioned, how he was saved because of Gopi Chandan. But anyway, the message is, Nityam karoti yaha papi Gopi Chandana dharanam sa prayati harer dhama golokam prakrate param. Anybody who applies Gopi Chandan Tilak, even that person is sinful, still he will go to Golok Vrindavan. If every day, Nityam karoti Gopi Chandana. Every day we should put Gopi Chandan Tilak. Every day. It should be a regulative principle. Once we take Snan, we should wear Gopi Chandan Tilak and sit and chant every morning. Hare Krishna. This was from Garga Samhita. Now I want to read some verses from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Reading from Hari Bhakti Vilas, this is the fourth Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas, written by Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami on the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the fourth Vilas, and we are going to read text number 207 onwards. And Srila Sanatan Goswami is quoting from Padma Puran Uttarakhanda. Ekantino Mahabhagah Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha Santaralam Prakurvanti Pundram Hari Padakriti. The most fortunate unalloyed devotees of Lord Hari, Ekantino Mahabhagah. The unalloyed one-pointed devotees of Lord Hari should decorate their bodies with tilak. And how should the tilak be? It should resemble the lotus feet of the Lord, keeping a space between the two lines. Santaralam Prakurvanti Pundram Hari Padakriti. Hari Padakriti. The two lines representing the two lotus feet of Lord Hari. Now there are different types of tilaks. You must have seen. Shamam Shanti Karam Proktam Raktam Vashya Karam Tatha Shri Karam Pita Mithyahu Shvetam Moksha Spradam Shubham. There are four colors of tilak. Our tilak is Pita, yellow. According to learned opinion, this Srila Sanatan Goswami is writing, black tilak awards one peace of mind. Shamam Shanti Karam Proktam. Then Raktam Vashya Karam Tatha. Red tilak helps one control others. Vash mein karna dusro ko. Shvetam Moksha Spridam Shubham. And white tilak also is available. It is auspicious and awards liberation, moksha. But what about our yellow tilak, Gopi Chandan Tilak? Shri Karam Pita Mithyahu. Pita tilak, yellow tilak, which is our tilak, awards Srimati Radharani. Shriji, barsane wali Shriji. Of course, Shri can have many meanings. It can mean opulence, it can mean wealth, but we don't put tilak for wealth. Shri, we want Radharani. We want to become Palya Dasis of Srimati Radharani. And Gopi Chandan Tilak, because we are wearing Radharani and her Sakhis Maha as Gopi Chandan, we will get Radharani. Clearly it is mentioned. Shri Karam Pita Mithyahu. If we put yellow tilak, we will get Radharani. Shriji. Arabhya Nasika Moolam. How to put this Gopi Chandan Tilak now? That is explained. Arabhya Nasika Moolam Lalatantam Lipen Mrudam Nasika Yastrayo Bhaga Nasa Moolam Prachakshate. Please listen carefully. Srila Sanatan Goswami is saying one should begin applying tilak from the tip of the nose and go up to the top of the forehead using a suitable clay. There are different types of clay. There is Radha Kund, there is Gopi Chandan. You can take, so that was already described. You can take mud from from a tulsi plant. You can take mud from Shri Rangam. You can take from Tirupati, Lord Venkateshwar's place. All these places are mentioned. And one can take dust from any part of Vrindavan. All these are bona fide tilaks, Hari Bhakti Vilas describes. So one should begin applying tilak from the tip of the nose and go up to the top of the forehead using a suitable tilak, suitable clay. The tip of the nose actually means 3/4 of the way down from the bridge of the nose. So bridge of the nose is this. So 3/4 down. So 75% down basically. So not till the tip of the nose, but you should leave 25% and the tilak should go 3/4 way down. It is said, Nasika yas trayo bhaga, 3/4 of the way down. The tip of the nose actually means 3/4 of the way down from the bridge of the nose. One should form 2 parallel lines, beginning from the middle of the eyebrows and moving upwards. Samarabhya bhruvor moolam antaralam prakalpayet. One should form parallel lines beginning from the middle of the eyebrows. So this parallel line should begin from middle of the eyebrows. Until here it should be all tulsi leaf. And then it goes all the way upward where the hairline starts. It is clearly mentioned here. Top of the forehead. Then there are many verses. Again, Srila Sanatana Goswami is writing in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Nasadi Kesha Paryantam. See, Kesha Paryantam, where the hairline starts, we would stop there. Nasadi Kesha Paryantam Urdhva Pundram Sushobhanam Madhye Chhidra Samayuktam Tad Vidyadhari Mandiram. This is very important. The tilak that begins from the nose and extends to the hair of the head with a beautiful space between the lines. There should be space between the lines, is considered to be a temple of Lord Hari. So between the 2 lines, we should clean it nicely. What happens? Vama pashrave sthito brahma dakshine tu sada shivaha madhye vishnum vijaniyat tasman madhyam na lepayet. Clearly it is said that Lord Brahma resides on the left side. Brahmaji is our Sampradaya Acharya. We are in the Brahma Sampradaya. So when we put this Gaudiya Vaishnava Urdhva Pundra Tilak with Gopi Chandan or Radha Kund or Vrajraj or Tulsi Raj, all these are bona fide. Then Brahmaji resides here. Brahmaji resides here on the left side. On the right side, Vaishnavana Metha Shambhu, the greatest Vaishnava Mahajan, Shankar Bhagwan lives here. And between these 2 lines resides Lord Vishnu. Vama Pashrave Sthito Brahma on the left side. Dakshine tu Sadashiva on the right side, Sadashiva. Madhye Vishnum Vijaniyat. Please know that Lord Vishnu is staying in the middle. Tasman Madhyam na lepayet. Therefore, don't keep any tilak in the middle. Don't put anything in the middle. Because Lord Vishnu stays there. It is clearly said. Then Srila Sanatana Goswami is quoting from the Yajur Ved. Hare padakrantim atmani dharayati yaha sa parasya priyo bhavati sa punyavan madhye chidram urdhva pundram yo dharayati sa mukti bhaga bhavati. One who decorates his body with a drawing of Shri Hari's lotus feet. Hare padakrantim atmani dharayatiha. One who decorates his body with a drawing of Shri Hari's lotus feet. Sa parasya priyo bhavati sa punyavan. Such a person is very dear to Lord Hari and is considered punyavan, most pious. Madhye chidram urdhva poundram yo. This is from Yajur Ved. Madhye chidram urdhva pundram yo. one who wears the tilak that has a space between two parallel lines, dharayati sa mukti bhag bhavati, certainly achieves liberation. Such a person certainly achieves liberation. Anamika kamadokta madhya mayushkari bhavet, angushtha pushtidha proktas tarjani moksha sadhani. Please listen to this verse carefully. This verse is important. Please pay attention. This is also from Hari Bhakti Vilas. This is verse number 221. Which finger should we use to apply tilak? Should we use the index finger? Should we use the middle finger? Should we use the ring finger? Should we use the little finger? Which finger should we use for applying tilak? There is different result for using different finger. Gagan Mata is saying ring finger. Yes, I also use my ring finger only. Anamika kamadokta. Srila Prabhupada also, there is a video of Srila Prabhupada putting with his ring finger. Anamika kamadokta. If we apply tilak using one's ring finger, it awards one's desired goal. Kamadokta. And what is our kamana? What is our desire? Mhayamatma pada padama dasya dasturadhika. We want Radha Dasyam. There is nothing else we want. Only Radha Dasyam. Gopī bhartu padakamalayar das das anudas. Gopī bhartu means Radhanath. Gopinath. Bhartu is the Nath and Gopī is Radharani. The highest Gopī. Gopi Jana Shiromani Shri Radhe. So we want Radha Dasyam. Mahaprabhu has given it to us. So Anamika Kamadokta. With the ring finger, if you apply tilak, then all our spiritual desires will be fulfilled. Madhya Mayushkari Bhave. If we use the middle finger, it will increase our ayushya. It will increase our duration of life. Angushtha Pushti Daha Proktas. If you use the little finger, then one will get good health. And applying tilak with the first finger, the index finger, Tarjani Moksha Sadhani. If you apply with the index finger, we will get moksha, we will get liberation. But to fulfill our spiritual desires, to get pure bhakti, Radha Krishna Pranamor, Yugala Kishore, Jivane Marane Gati Arana Himor, for that we use the ring finger. Srila Prabhupada also used to use ring finger. There are so many verses. So here is the praman where you can get the tilak from. Which tilak is bona fide? Shri Range Venkatadraucha, Shri Kurme Dwarake Shubhe, Prayage Narasimhadau, Varahe Tulasi Vane, Grihitva Mrittikam Bhaktya, Vishnu Pada Jalaya Saha, Dhritva Pundrani Changeshu, Vishnu Sayujyam Apnuyat. This is texts 20, 24 and 25 from the fourth Vilas of Shri Hari Bhakti Vilas. Shri Range. We can get dust from Shri Rangam. Venkatadraucha and Venkatadri from the hill of Tirupati, Lord Venkateshwar. Shri Kurme from Kurma Kshetra we can get. Dwarake Shubhe, or one can get from Dwarka or Gopi Chandan. Prayage, or we can get from Prayag. Narasimhadau, or we can get from Narsimha Kshetra. Ahobalam. Varahe, or we can get from the Varaha Kshetra, or Tulasi Vane. Tulasi Vane means Vrindavan, because Tulsi is Vrinda. So we can get dust from Vrindavan, anywhere from Vrindavan. Grihitva Mrittikam Bhaktya. So one should bring clay from any of these places, and Vishnu Pada Jalaya Saha, and then we should not take ordinary water to apply tilak. This I also learned new when I was reading just a few minutes ago before the class. So it is said we should take Vishnu Pada Jalaya Saha. So in our house, we have some Charanamrut. We may have Shaligram Shila or Gopalji or Radha Krishna. Whatever their Charanamrut is, we should keep Charanamrut as a separate water for applying Tilak. And we should take Charanamrut on the hand, put the Tilak, and then apply Tilak. So we should not use ordinary water. Or one can just take water, and that's what I have been doing. Gange Cha Yamune Chaiva. When we are rubbing the Tilak, Gange Cha Yamune Chaiva Godavari. But here it is said that Vishnu Pada Jalai Saha. So I'm going to get Charanamrut now from tomorrow to make my Tilak. So Charanamrut. Vishnu Pada. Dhritva Pundrani Changeshu Vishnu Sayujjam Apnuyat. We should mix it with water that has washed the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Charanamrit. By using this clay, one should decorate body with tilak and come before the Lord. Come before the Lord. And then it is said, Yattu divyam hari kshetram tasyaiva mridama haret. One can actually go and collect mrid or clay from any of the transcendental Leela Sthalis of Lord Hari, any abode of Lord Hari. Yattu divyam hari kshetram. Any hari kshetra we can get. And then again, there are so many, there is so much benefit of wearing Gopi Chandan Tilak. Shri Narad Muni says in Padma Puran, this is from Padma Puran, Brahmadno Vatha Gognova Haitukaha Sarva Papakrit Gopi Chandana Samparkat Puto Bhavati Tat Kshanat. Anyone, even the killer of a Brahman, Brahmadno, or a killer of cow, Gohagno, a dry speculator, or one who has committed all kinds of sinful activities, Sarva Papakrit, can at once be purified simply by touching tilak made of Gopi Chandan. Gopi Chandana Samparka, सिर्फ संपर्क आने से गोपी चंदन के साथ संपर्क करने से पूतो भवति तत्क्षणात्, immediately because it's Gopi Padaraj. What can be more powerful than that? Text 228. Gopi Chandana Khaṇḍantu yo dadati hi Vaishnave kulam ekottaram tena sambhavetaritam shatam. A person who donates a piece of Gopi Chandan to a Vaishnava. So devotees, we don't have to buy diamond rings and gold for devotee. In the material world, people try to impress by giving Amazon gift cards and this card and this gift, perfume, this, that. So many gifts they give, kapde, jute as gifts. My dear friends, for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we can simply give a stick of Gopi Chandan as a gift. Clearly it is said, Gopi Chandana Khaṇḍantu yo dadati hi Vaishnave kulam ekottaram tena sambhavetaritam shatam. A person who donates a piece of Gopi Chandan to a Vaishnava delivers 100 generations of his family. Hari bol. This is the highest dan. Devotees, just give a Gopi Chandan as a gift. That is the best gift, isn't it? Best gift. Because every day we use it. Every day we use it. Gopi Mrittulasi Shankha Shalagrama Sachakrakaha Grihepi Yasya Panchaite Tasya Papa Bhayam Kutaha. Shripad Narad Muni, so Shri Dhruva Maharaj is saying in Skanda Puran, this is from Skanda Puran. Shri Dhruva Maharaj is saying, one who has 5 things in his house, 5 things, Tasya Papa Bhayam Kuta, has no fear. What fear such a person has from sins? If you have 5 things in your house. Grihepi Yasya Panchaite Tasya Papa Kutam Bhayam. 5 things. What are they? Gopi Mrit, Tulasi, Shankha, Shalagrama Sachakraka. What are the 5 things? Gopi Chandan. We should have Gopi Chandan in the house. Everybody should have Gopi Chandan in their house. Tulsi plant. Then a conch shell to do abhishek of the Lord, or to offer arti to the Lord, or to blow the conch shell before arti. Dwarka Shila and a Shaligram Shila. 5 things. Dwarka Shila, Shaligram Shila. So we used to have Shaligram Shilas, but after reading this verse, I got Dwarka Shila also. Because in Padma Puran also it is said that Shaligram Shila should be worshipped along with Dwarka Shila. So Dwarka Shila, Shaligram Shila, conch shell, Shankha, Gopi Chandan and Tulsi. 5 things if we have, no need to be afraid of anything. Then last, there are many verses, my dear friends. Just please bear with me, okay? Few more minutes. The 2-3 verses I want to read. Shri Narad Muni says in Garuda Puran, Kriya vihinam yadi mantrahinam shraddha vihinam yadi kalavarjitam kritva lalate yadi gopi chandanam prapnoti tat karma phalam sadakshayam. A person who engages in various pious activities after decorating his forehead with Gopī Chandan Tilak achieves inexhaustible results. Karma phalam sada akshayam. Akshay, inexhaustible results one attains, even if he performs his activities with faults. Even if there are faults. Kriya vihinam yadi mantrahinam. With faults, does not recite the proper mantras, while performing his activities, has no faith in the activities he performs, or performs at improper time. Yadi kala varjitam. If everything is wrong, but kritva lalate, if on the forehead there is Gopī Chandanam, then prapnoti tat karma phalam sadakshay. Will get akshay results. So very, very glorious this Gopī Chandan is. Then in Padma Puran, Shri Gautam Rishi also says to Ambarish Maharaj. You want to hear what Updesh Gautam Rishi gave Ambarish Maharaj? Ambarisha Mahadhasya Kshayarthe Kuru Vikshanam Lalate Yai Kritam Nityam Gopī Chandana Pundrakam. Shri Gautam Rishi is saying in Padma Puran, oh Maharaj Ambarish, if you want to free yourself from sinful reactions, so it is an instruction to all of us. Ambarish Maharaj is sinless, but in their conversation, dharm ki baat ho rahi hai. So Gautam Rishi is saying, oh Ambarish Maharaj, if one wants to free oneself from sinful reactions, just see a person whose forehead is decorated with tilak made of Gopī Chandan. If we simply have darshan of a devotee who is wearing Gopī Chandan, one becomes free from all sinful reactions. Just by taking darshan of a Vaishnava who is wearing Gopi. So when we see a Vaishnava with nice Gopī Chandan Tilak, Tulsi Kantham, we should feel very happy. Because just by beholding a Vaishnava with Gopī Chandan Tilak, all the sins are destroyed. Can you imagine how powerful this process is? Srila Prabhupada has taught us to wear Gopī Chandan every day and associate with devotees. Every day. How wonderful. Ambarisha Mahadasya Kshayarthe Kuru Vikshanam Lalate Yai Kritam Nityam Gopī Chandana Paundrakam. Kshayarthe, if you want to destroy all your sins, then Lalate Yai Kritam Nityam Gopī Chandana Paundrakam. Just take darshan of person who is wearing Gopī Chandan. Now, there are many more verses I have marked, but one last verse and then we'll conclude. Are you ready for the last verse? This is also from Padma Puran, and Yamrajji, Dharmaraj, Yamraj is speaking, final authority. Yamraj. He is instructing his Yamdutas. What is Yamraj saying? Dutaha shrunuta yad bhalam Gopī Chandana lanchitam Jvala Dindha Navat Sopi Tyajyo Dure Prayatnataha. O Yamdutas, you should avoid at a great distance. Tyajyo Dure Prayatnataha. You should avoid at a great distance as if they were a blazing fire. Jvala Dindha Navat Sopi. As if they are a blazing fire, you should avoid. Who? Those persons whose foreheads are decorated with Gopī Chandan Tilak. Duta Shrunuta, listen, Dutas. Yad Bhalam Gopī Chandana Lanchitam. Yad Bhalam Gopī Chandana Lanchitam Jvala Dindhanavat Sopi Tajyo Dure Prayatnata. Stay far away from a person whose forehead is decorated with Gopī Chandan Tilak. So this is the glory of Tilak and specifically Gopī Chandan Tilak, which Srila Prabhupada has given us. So we should be transcendentally very proud of our our sampradaya, of our culture, of our Vaishnava practices, and with great confidence, with great transcendental pride, we should call ourselves Prabhupadanugas and wear tilak and just follow Srila Prabhupada. What Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada is a Brajvasi, Srila Prabhupada is from Golok Vrindavan, and by following Srila Prabhupada, that is where we are going. Hari Hari! Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So if there are any questions, yes, Pradyumna Prabhuji, please, we have been missing you all these days. You can unmute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
It's very nice to hear about this Gopī Chandan, and you have explained so many new things, Prabhuji. Like a Dwarka Sila, I have a question. From where I never heard Dwarka Sila about,
So just like we have Shaligram Shila, which comes from the Gandaki river in Nepal, there is a river near Dwarka called Gomati.
Right.
So from the Gomati Shila is Dwarka Shila. It is white in color and it has chakras, different chakras. And depending on how many chakras there are, the Dwarka Shila has name. So we have two Dwarka Shilas. One has 4 chakras. So it is Janardhan. 3 chakras is Trivikram. And more than 12 chakras is Ananta. And the second Dwarka Shila we have is Ananta Dwarka Shila. It has got more than 12 chakras. Like that.
Yes, Dwarka Shila. And other thing, Prabhuji, like in Radhakund appearance day, about thousands of people go and take one dip, and so Radhakund appearance day is that much, you see hundreds of thousands people there and purify themselves. But other side, in Gopī Talab, I went couple of times Dwarka, but I never seen nobody take bath in Gopī Talab, because the Gopī Chandan is coming from there. That's why people don't take baths there. Just they take the water and maybe you can put on the head, that's all. Yeah. I see that way. Hare Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pradyumna Prabhu. Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Okay, Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
So are these Tilak 12 places you mentioned applicable only for initiated and especially Brahman initiated devotees, or any devotee?
Any Vaishnava. There is no necessity of initiation. Anybody who is following Vaishnava Dharma, anybody who is chanting Hare Krishna, following the 4 regulative principles, must wear tilak, whether initiated or not initiated.
Okay, thank you, bro.
As long as one is following the Vaishnava Dharma, Vaishnava Sadachar, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following the 4 regulative principles, one must wear Gopī Chandan Tilak.
Okay, because in my case, I can speak about my case. Until I got initiated, or until some stage, nobody mentioned about this Tilak.
No, Tulsi Kanthimala and Tilak, Gopī Chandan Tilak, or Radhakund Tilak, we must wear. If we are chanting 16 rounds, we are following 4 regulative principles, we must wear. We must wear. Because see, initially in the sense, originally in the culture, Guru gives Kanthimala and Guru gives Tilak. Without Guru, we cannot take Tilak. Unless one has Guru, one cannot wear Tilak. Because which Tilak? There are so many Tilaks. Different types of Tilak. Tilak is given only by Guru. But our Shiksha Guru is Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada. So we follow Srila Prabhupada. So Diksha, maybe we are not initiated, but we are taking Shiksha from Srila Prabhupada. Anybody who is reading Prabhupada's books, anybody who is chanting 16 rounds following 4 regulative principles should wear. Because we have accepted Srila Prabhupada as our preeminent Shiksha Guru. Okay? So one should, what if one dies? Are we going to die without Kanthi and Tilak? No. So no question of initiation, one should wear. Because we have received this Tilak from Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, thank you, bro.
Hare Krishna. Gagan Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, मुझे ये पूछना था आपसे, आपने जैसे कहा कि इन द मिडल वी शुड नॉट पुट एनीथिंग, बट हम जैसे माता जी बिंदी लगाते हैं, इज दैट अलाउड?
Bindi.
I mean, you were reading from the Hari Bhakti Vilas, or also in Hari Bhakti Vilas, sometime back I read कि हमें भगवान कृष्ण और विष्णु को कभी भी एग प्लांट और एक दो और चीजें थी वो कभी ऑफर नहीं करनी चाहिए, बट वो भी मतलब I saw some people doing that. तो वो सब चीजें कैसे हम समझे प्रभु जी की वो हम हाँ जी
जो बिंदी है माता जी, वो आप किसी माता जी को पूछिए। मुझे नहीं पता, आप किसी माता जी को पूछिए, सीनियर माता जी को। एज फार एज एग प्लांट इज कंसर्न्ड, कैरेट्स आर कंसर्न्ड, हाँ, दीज आर डिटेल्स, दीज आर डिटेल्स। बहुत सारी चीजें दिए हैं हमारे शास्त्रों में, जिन्हें श्रील सनातन गोस्वामी जी ने हरि भक्ति विलास में कोट किया है, और सभी कुछ तो फॉलो करना संभव नहीं है, बट इट इज अ मैटर ऑफ पर्सनल प्रेफरेंस। अगर कोई एग प्लांट नहीं खाना चाहता, नहीं पाना चाहते, तो दैट इज कंप्लीटली फाइन, दैट इज फाइन। एंड अभी जगन्नाथपुरी में भी देखिए आप, जगन्नाथपुरी में जगन्नाथ जी को कई सारे पदार्थ नहीं पवाते, वहाँ के जो पांडा लोग हैं, कई सारी चीजें हैं उसमें, मतलब बहुत सारे, लाइक टमाटो, जो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हम लोग यूज करते हैं, ये कभी वहां पे यूज नहीं होते। मेरे ख्याल से एग प्लांट भी शायद नहीं होता यूज, जो ट्रेडिशनल इंडियन वेजिटेबल्स है वही यूज होते हैं जगन्नाथपुरी में भी। तो ऐसे दीज आर ऑल डिफरेंट डिटेल्स, डिफरेंट रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस। डिवोटी शुड फॉलो मिनिमम जो है कि नो अनियन गार्लिक, नो मशरूम्स, नो एग्स, प्योर वेजिटेरियन। अब उसके ऊपर जो चीजें फॉलो करने हैं वो इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ पर्सनल प्रेफरेंस, एंड जितना भक्त एडवांसमेंट करना चाहता है उतना अधिक वो धीरे धीरे वो फॉलो करेंगे। एक someone can help me just to pull out one purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita on urad dal. Someone can just type urad dal in Vedabase. In one purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada ji writes that a devotee should never take urad dal. It is high protein, and it increases, I think Prabhupada ji writes, it increases, it becomes very difficult to follow the fourth regulative principle if we eat urad dal. लेकिन अभी इडली सांबार, इडली डोसा में तो, उपमा में उड़द दाल होती है, सिर्फ चातुर्मास में 1 महीना हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं। सो ऐसे कई सारी चीजें हैं, देखिए राम श्याम प्रभु जी ने शेयर किया है। हाँ, मैं ओपन कर रहा हूँ। नहीं ये नहीं प्रभु। देखिए एक परपोर्ट है, वहां पे श्रील प्रभुपाद जी लिखते हैं कि उड़द दाल नहीं खानी चाहिए। So these are all details, Gagan Mata ji. अच्छा हाँ, राधा भाव has written potato, eggplants, carrots, tomatoes are not offered in Jagannath Puri. So ये डिटेल्स है माता जी, जैसा जितना जिसे एडवांसमेंट करनी है और स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करना है स्वयं के लिए, खुद के लिए, वी कैन मेक दिस रूल्स एंड फॉलो। बट श्रील प्रभुपाद इज प्रीचिंग, अभी बहुत अगर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस डाल देंगे, वो जो लोग प्रचार कर रहे थे श्रील प्रभुपाद जी, उन्हें तो कुछ भी पता नहीं था वैदिक धर्म के बारे में, तो उन्हें अनियन गार्लिक बहुत बड़ी चीज हो गई, चाय कॉफी बहुत बड़ी चीज हो गई है। अब अगर इतने रिस्ट्रिक्शंस डालते कि उड़द दाल मत लो, एग प्लांट मत लो, पोटैटोज मत लो, टोमेटो मत लो, तो इट विल बिकम वेरी डिफिकल्ट। सो इसीलिए गौर निताय का आश्रय लेकर मिनिमम स्टैंडर्ड डेफिनेटली फॉलो करना है, जो प्रिंसिपल्स है उसके ऊपर डिटेल्स बहुत सारे है, जितना हो सके उतना इंडिविजुअल डिवोटीज ने फॉलो करना चाहिए। इज दैट ओके गगन माता जी? अच्छा सॉरी, आप शायद गगन माता जी नहीं है, मे बी शी लेफ्ट। ओके, सो दिव्या माता जी।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I wanted to ask you, like for some of us, like for Gopī Jan and Tilak, because of we can't, it's not an option for us because of maybe family, and also like where the social where we are hanging around, and sometimes the family, they don't like to see us in Tilak. Then what should we do?
Yeah, so I started wearing Tilak to my hospital, and my medical director, he told me that don't wear Tilak in the hospital. The patients don't like it, and just don't do it. So after that, what I do is morning when we chant and do puja seva, I have tilak. Before going to the hospital, I wash away my tilak. There are devotees, they apply tilak with water. So they take a few drops of water and maybe you can just touch Gopi Chandan to it and then they put tilak with water because that is invisible. So that also you can do. But we should decorate our body with tilak, purify our body with tilak and make it a temple of Krishna. So is that okay, Divya Mataji? I hope that is okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. And one more thing, you mentioned Rukmini Devi and Satyabhama meeting Radharani. But aren't Satyabhama and Radharani identical? I mean, aren't they same? So
in Tattva, yes, Radharani manifests herself as Satyabhama and Chandravali manifests herself as Rukmini. Ultimately, all these wives or gopis of Krishna, they are coming from Srimati Radharani. All of them. All the gopis, all the queens, they come from Radharani only. But for the sake of Leela, there is a difference. Their mood is different. Their way of serving Krishna is different. So in Tattva, there is no difference, but in Rasa, in Leela, there is difference. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu and then Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, my question is like, how do we make sure that Gopi Chandan which we take is authentic? Because it's so glorious and you mentioned that it should come from specific places only. But we buy it from the shops, like either Vrindavan shops or from Krishna conscious shops. So can we be sure that it's authentic?
Abhi, how can you be sure that I am initiated? तो अभी कुछ तो विश्वास करना पड़ेगा, otherwise we cannot live, we cannot survive in this. खाने में जहर है क्या? How do I know that there is no poison in this food? So everything we cannot doubt, but you can go to Gopi Talab and get it from there. One devotee went to Gopi Talab and got it for us.
Okay.
You can get those big lumps of Gopi Chandan. It is unscented. And then you can mix the scented jo sticks milte hai market mein. So you can mix, I mix some Vrajraj also in it and some Radha Kund Tilak also. Uska combination lagata hu main.
Okay.
Because Hari Bhakti Vila says like that. All of them are bona fide. So like that, you can go yourself and get from Gopi Talab.
Okay, Prabhuji. So one motivation to visit Dwarika now.
But wahan se Vrindavan aana.
Sure.
Only going there to get the gopis dust.
Yes. Yeah, any India trip is not complete without going to Vrindavan anyway.
It culminates in Vrindavan.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, I had one thing to share and one question. So first I'll ask the question. My question is, Prabhuji, when was this meeting of the gopis with the Mahishis after the Kurukshetra war? Because as far as we have, what we have, information we have, they met during the Kurukshetra war. So when was this? Yeah. So was it after that?
So that chronology is not described because this pastime is not from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna comes in every kalpa. So it could be kalpa bhed.
Okay.
But Dwarka is eternal and Vrindavan is eternal. And we don't know which avatar this Leela happened. That is not mentioned. But it is there in Garga Samhita. So we don't know which kalpa.
Okay, Prabhuji. And there's one thing I just wanted to share. I mean, I just found it out from a source that during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, potatoes were not existent. Tomatoes and potatoes were brought by the Spaniards and the Spanish people into this country. So that is one of the reasons it doesn't belong to this country.
जो original recipes है Jagannath Puri के उसमें नहीं, because these vegetables came later.
Yeah.
So that's why you're right. They are not included. They are not native vegetables.
Yes, and even green chilies were not actually a product of India. They were instead, because I had a little bit of study of Ayurveda. They said that they used to use black pepper to spice up things.
Achha.
So even in Bengal, they used to make what is called moricher jhol. Mori means the black pepper, and jhol means a stew. That is the ancient times. So that is I just wanted to share it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Parimataji. Hare Krishna. So one question has come: why we chant specific names of Shri Krishna while applying tilak to specific part of the body? Because it is said that in that mantra itself, it is said that this is where this deity of Krishna resides. ऐसा यहाँ पर केशव जी रहते हैं, यहाँ पर नारायण भगवान रहते हैं, यहाँ पर माधव जी रहते हैं, यहाँ पर गोविंद रहते हैं. तो ऐसे अलग अलग मैनिफेस्टेशंस है भगवान के. देयर आर different Vishnu Murtis, Trivikram, Madhusudan, Vaman, Vishnu, Shridhar. So they reside. And also it is just Namavali. भगवान के इतने सुंदर सुंदर नाम है. नाम नाम अकारी बहुधा निज सर्व शक्ति. तो भगवान के अलग अलग नाम. हरिहराय नमः, कृष्ण यादवाय नमः, यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः, गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन, गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन. भक्तों को बहुत आनंद आता है भगवान के अलग अलग नामों का उच्चारण करने से. तो अलग अलग डिफरेंट मंत्रस. ओम केशवाय नमः, ओम नारायणाय नमः, ऐसा. सो लाइक दैट. So it's just nice variety. Okay. So let me quickly go through the chat box, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yo mam evam asamudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid. Sa sarvavid arthat that devotee who knows me as Purushottam knows everything. Sa sarvavid. Bharati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Very nice. Yes, Gagan Matari said ring finger. Mukta Sangha Prabhu has asked, initiated, but anybody who is following the Vaishnava Dharma can apply tilak and wear kantimala. Where should we get authentic Gopi Chandan? Yeah, authenticity is important. So best to go to Gopi Talab and get. Wahan milte hain. And see, even if somebody is Vamshidhari Gopal, even if somebody is, let's say, cheating us, they are not giving original Gopi Chandan. Yeah, kantimala में भी मान लो कि अभी क्या proof है कि actual तुलसी है? It could be any wood. So हम विश्वास करते हैं, वृंदावन से खरीदते हैं क्योंकि वृंदावन हमारा घर है. Srila Prabhupada said Vrindavan is my home. So we get Kantimala from Vrindavan, we buy Gopi Chandan from Vrindavan, or we get it from the Gopi Talab directly. क्योंकि व्रजवासियों पे हमें विश्वास होता है. वृंदावन में हमारी पूरी श्रद्धा है, पूरी आस्था है. But even if somebody lies and cheats, भगवान तो देख रहे हैं कि हमारा भाव क्या है. Krishna is seeing what is our intention, what is our faith. So we are doing it in a bona fide way. If somebody cheats, then it is between them and Krishna. Krishna will not hold us responsible. Okay. Then potato, carrots, tomatoes not offered in puri. उड़द दाल का मिला किसी को? Purport. Must take. हाँ, conversation वो है. नहीं, एक purport है प्रभु. हाँ, श्रील प्रभुपाद. अच्छा, मधुमती प्रिया माता जी ने शेयर किया है. 1 second, let me share my screen. This is very important. हाँ, this is the purport, correct. यहाँ पे है, देखिए, उड़द दाल. Similarly, मसूर दाल तो वैसे पहले भी खाते नहीं थे हम. Before coming to ISKCON also we were not eating. Similarly, मसूर दाल and urad dal are also considered non-vegetarian. These two dals contain a great amount of protein, or food rich is considered non-vegetarian. On the whole, during the 4-month of Chaturmasya, one should practice giving up all food intended for sense gratification. So यहाँ पे urad dal के बारे में लिखा है, which is important for someone who wants to make advancement. So these are individual things that we can practice. ठीक है. So Prabhupada ji writes here. कौन सा वर्ष है ये? Madhya 4.169. So just wanted to share this. So thank you Madhumati Mataji for sharing it. And thank you Ramsham Prabhu for sharing the conversation. We can apply with water. Radha is saying, I was, yes Mataji, no problem. Not able to mute. And Ananya also has shared it. This is not very difficult in the month of Shravan. Okay. So that you have shared. Then there is one question. what is surname of Krishna and Balram in Vraj? It is said Krishna Vasudev Yadav, but this is full name, is known outside Vrindavan. What is surname of Krishna in Vrindavan? What is surname of Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maiya? Hare Krishna. You have to go there and ask Krishna and Balram, what is your surname? Krishna's surname is Radhapati. Ramsham Prabhu, आपको कुछ है? You have a question?
Yeah, एक small clarification चाहिए था Prabhu. Like when we apply the, as you are reading and mentioning, when we apply the Gopī Chandan Tilak, so it gives the benefit of 100 or 1,000 Aswamedha Yagna. So like Yudhishthira Maharaj was doing the Aswamedha Yagna, and Ramchandra, Lord Ramchandra was doing the single Aswamedha Yagna. It takes so much of efforts and this kind of, so to conceive that, I was trying to understand how to conceive this one.
No problem conceiving. It is as it is, as the scriptures say. Yes, just putting Gopī Chandan Tilak, you get more benefit than performing Rajasuya Yajna and Ashwamedha Yajna, because Krishna is pleased. The whole purpose of all these yajnas is to please Krishna, and Krishna is pleased with simple things. So therefore, bhakti is very simple, and especially for us people of Kali Yuga, it's so difficult to perform all these yajnas. So Krishna has given this very sulabh, very easy marg, that just chant Hare Krishna, practice the Vaishnava Dharma, apply Gopī Chandan Tilak, wear Kanthi Mala of Tulsi, and practice the 64 limbs of bhakti. So simple. So it's a very special concession. We should think kitna aho bhagyam, kitni kripa hai, kitni anukampa hai Bhagwan ki, कितने दयालु है भगवान, कितना सरल किया है उन्होंने सब कुछ हमारे लिए कलयुग में. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes because of like Mansumanmatya, like we are not so much. So sometimes we think like, is it really kind of?
No, it is. It is. Whatever is there in the Shastra, it is real.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, correct.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Thank you so very much.